Yo, what's going on, snipers, and welcome back to our Vancouver Rain Draft to Glory franchise mode here in MLB The Show 23. So in last episode, we had the start of the year 12 season. As you can see so far, we are at 43 in 38 and in a wildcard spot, I believe. And we did also do some scouting and looking at this year's draft, and I'm excited to see what we could get with this year's draft because honestly, this is going to be probably our toughest draft yet, just because we're drafting so late into it because we obviously just made the playoffs for the first time in franchise history. So I think it's going to be definitely a tough task for our team to probably find somebody decent to like late in the first round, but you never know, maybe we'll find a random steal. Hopefully some of the guys we were looking at the end of last episode could fall to us and we could snag them up. But anyways, I am recording this episode a couple hours after you guys would have seen the last episode, so I apologize if there is comments that come in after the fact. It's just because I'm very excited to get into drafts all the time, and I always just want to record them right after the fact. So I almost don't give myself any time to get any comments in because I just really want to see what we end up getting. So can't hold my excitement in too long, apparently. But anyways, we have a few comments to go over from Crazy G. The first one says, Pip needs to start over Schneider. So let's go ahead to our lineup here. I already did actually make some lineup changes to our pitching rotation, which I'll get to in a bit. But we are going to swap out Steve with Jeff Pip because Pip has been hitting really well off the bench. Steve Schneider, not so much. So we'll swap the two of them around so Pip can get into the lineup more frequently, and hopefully Pip could have a good resurgence this year. He is a pending free agent, which is a bit risky, so if he ends up playing this good, he's in for a big payday probably, which is not ideal because we do need more third baseman prospects, and maybe we'll find some in this year's draft because that would be pretty beneficial for our team. So there's a little change with that. Next comment from Crazy G says, the easiest way to make sure you don't waste valuable scouting time is to look into their future potential numbers before you select them to scout, because some of these guys have no future numbers and are honestly a waste of scouting. And yeah, it's true. I kind of do end up just scouting guys fully just more because with some guys, I think their numbers kind of change. I don't know if they get worse or not if you scout them out longer. Sometimes it gets better, but I end up scouting guys out full 100%. So if we end up seeing any guys that we know aren't worth scouting right off the bat, maybe we should just kind of drop them from scouting and only leave them at like 65% scouted instead. Also, Crazy G has 3 other comments. The next one says, move Ken Robert to mid-relief pitcher. The second setup pitcher usually gets no innings. So I did go ahead and already do that with our pitching rotation. You can see it is a lot different now. So basically what I did is I decided to send Brian Morse down to AAA. He actually still had all 3 of his minor league options, so I sent him down there, and he's going to be playing as a relief pitcher down there, hopefully getting back some of his confidence that he used to have before his injury last season. So he's down there in AAA now. And you can see I moved Montero back over to a starter. It's mostly because of stamina. His hits per 9 and stuff like that is much better than the other guy I called up, which was Kenny Olinger. I did also send Pablo Silva back down to AAA just because he wasn't doing too well, so decided to give him a chance to kind of find himself again. And I have been liking the way Kenny has been pitching as a relief pitcher down in AAA, so I was like, you know what, might as well give this guy a shot at the MLB level and see if he could be a good reliever at our level as well. And yeah, basically him and Sparbori, Sparbori were the call-up. Sparbori is going to be in the number 4 spot. He already pitched 1 game this season and he was really good in it, and then eventually he got sent back down. So I think it's good to have him back up here again, and hopefully he continues to do what he did in his only game he pitched so far this season. And then the final comment says, favorites in the draft, Brady Shartner, Ezra Reyna, Jared Barton, Freddie Rado, Robert Cato, Travis Bravo, Luis Forbes, Brett Diaz, Manny Delgado, and Ray Dorta. So those are guys that we're probably going to be looking at to potentially draft from Crazy G. And he also says, potential scout further, Johnny Reeves, Johnny Brown, JJ Zlidzek, I think it's pronounced. I don't even know how it's pronounced. It's a weird last name. Thomas Garlobo, William Bake, Ricky Adams, Brian Zinn, Henry Visperas, and Jack Hogan. So we are going to be adding, because he wanted Johnny Brown, JJ Zlidzek, and Thomas Garlobo scouted further. We do have them on the scouted further tab, so these guys will get scouted out a little bit more, and hopefully we can find out a decent amount about them in the last week before the draft. But yeah, I'm excited to see what we are going to end up getting with this pick, because obviously, like I said, we are not drafting super high up this year, But we do still have our eyes on some good prospects. I think my choice would be probably between Brady Shartner and also the outfielder. The reason I don't want to really go with Ezra Reyna is even though we do need third baseman, I'm not really sold on him based on his attributes. His future numbers, he looks like he could have three well above average, which is his power, his contact, and all that, his discipline too. But that vision isn't really that good in the future. Like, a lot of his stats are pretty just average in the future. We might have to take him if he ends up being the last player on the board still. But Brady Shartner looks like he could be a really good player in the future. And who knows, maybe as a second baseman, he could also play third base. So there's Shartner. And then also the outfielder in Jared Barton, who is pretty exciting. I think he might be honestly my favorite choice out of the bunch if we end up choosing him, because of the fact when you look at our outfielder right now, we have like Bill O'Donnell, who's a pending free agent, Ollie Gellman, who's a pending free agent. Yes, we've been drafting a lot of outfielders, but nothing it looks as good so far, to me at least, as Jared Barton does. Like, he might not have the most insane potential, but this guy should be a good overall out of the draft, and he should be able to develop into a good contact hitter with good vision, good discipline, and also good defense. So I think I might lean towards Jared Barton. The only thing is his bonus demand is going to use most of our money that we have to re-sign these draft picks, or not re-sign them, but sign these draft picks. So if for some reason we have to, maybe I'll go Brady Shartner instead, because he is going to be demanding a little bit less money. And then a third baseman in Ezra Reyna. I think we might be able to snag up in the second round as a random choice if we want to, but I don't know if he's going to fall that far. But it'd be kind of nice if he does, because obviously then we could get ourselves another third baseman, and maybe he'll actually be good. I just don't really see the necessary need for taking him in the first round, but we'll see what happens. So those were the comments I got in last episode, because like I said, I am recording this a couple hours after the last episode. I apologize, like I said, if you were in the middle of like doing other stuff and you couldn't get around to watching the video, but I honestly just have too much fun with the series, and I always like to get these drafts as fast as possible, because like not knowing what a player's potential is and what you're going to potentially get in a draft, waiting a few days in between episodes, it's pretty tedious. It's like one of the hardest things to do. Like, imagine if you were playing video games and you could only play for like an hour, and then you'd have to get off and you wouldn't be able to play it for another 3 days. It's pretty annoying. But let's go through another week and get to this draft, and hopefully let's go autofix lineups. Hopefully our team does good in the MLB level, and hopefully we also get some good prospects in the draft. Let's stop simulating for a second. We did just win 18-0 against Texas. Jeez, Sammy Gomez pitched a shutout, apparently. I got to take a look at the scoreboard on that game. 6 RBI game for Anton Trevino, who's having a crazy season so far. Holy shit. Wow. And then we won 8-5 there against Texas. 14-1 against San Diego. That's a team that won World Series multiple times in a row. And 8-1 there, too. So our team's looking pretty good so far to start this episode. And then, of course, I just lost 7-0 there. Let's get to this draft, and let's take a look at those prospects we scouted further just to see if they're actually looking pretty solid. So we got to take a look at Johnny Brown. So Johnny Brown, where are you, my man? Let's actually go by my scouted ones, because that'll make it easier. Johnny Brown, where are you? There's Johnny Reeves, the other Johnny. There's Johnny Brown. I mean, he looks solid future-wise. Like, he looks pretty balanced. I do like the walks per 9, potentially the home runs 9. Like, this guy might be a decent choice, but not as a first rounder. Like, if we have to, I might honestly go with him as a second round pick, as he's projected to go 70th round. I definitely think he would be a good player to take in the round 2 if we want to. Who else do we got? Slidezek, who's second base, and Garlobo. Garlobo is not looking ideal. He might actually have a high overall, but a low potential. Yeah, he might be that type of guy. He might actually be a good pick. Like, he might be one of those players that are like 73 overall, but 67 potential like it shows. Huh. He's not supposed to go till around that stage as well. So maybe we'll add a couple of those guys to our list. But let's see the other player, which was Slidezek, the second baseman. He's looking decent as well, at least right now. Future-wise, he looks like he could be a good contact hitter with good vision and discipline. Good fielding as well. Okay. That's interesting. Let's add all the players that Crazy G mentioned to my list. That way we know who's still available at what time, because I think I'll go with most of those players that he's suggesting, unless we see anybody else while we're actually looking through the list. So let's add Brady Shartner to this list. Actually, I could just like pretty much add everybody from each position here, I think. And let's just add all the ones he's listing instead. So we got him, Schnartner, we got Rivera, Arena, my bad, why did I say Rivera? There's so much friggin' names in this game. Jared Barton, those are our top 3 guys. Then we go over to starting base, or not starting base, what am I saying even? Oh my goodness, starting pitcher, my god. I'm sorry guys, I'm apparently out of sync right now. Robert Cato. There we go. Travis Bravo, who looks like he could be decent, but we don't really know that for certain. We also have Lewis Forbes to add to this list. Brett Diaz, who's also a pitcher. I really hope some of these guys are good. Like, hopefully it's a good draft class, because we've run into a lot of bad draft classes in the past, so it'd be nice to have one of our own that are really good, even if we're drafting really late. Johnny Reeves we gotta get, which he was back here. Who else we gotta get? William Bacon, Ricky Adams. There we go on those guys. Brian Zinn and Visperis. There we go on those guys, and Jack Hogan. Okay, let's take a look at our list here quickly. Just run through these guys a little bit. We already know most of those big guys, but let's kind of reorganize the bottom of this list a little bit, just so we kind of know who is the best out of the bunch. You're supposed to go 100th. Actually, these guys already might be all in order. 54. 89 on Dorda, so Dorda can move back. I want to reorder this. Let's go with Dorda. Yeah, Dorda could go back there a little bit. You could probably go behind Big too. Yeah, we'll go like that. That's good. 48, 32, 27, 23, 10, 8, 51 for Barton. It's crazy that our scouts have Barton that late. That's also a little bit of a concern to me. If the MLB has him at 9 and we have him at 51, that means he might not be as good as he looks. Or it's maybe he has a low potential. Like, he might be a really high overall, but a low potential kind of guy, and that's why our scouts are saying that. That's my guess. So, let's just get into this draft and see what happens. I honestly don't know what to expect, so let's just hope that we get a good prospect at our spot, because we're at 23, I think? 28, never mind. We're like the third last pick in the draft in this first round. Oh man, I don't know if anything's going to fall to that spot, but let's hope that somebody like Shartner falls that far. I honestly don't know what the computer scouted out, so let's just see what happens. This is the latest we've ever drafted, so, and we're going to get to see the entire first round unfold pretty much, which most of the time we only see like the top 5. So the first overall pick heading to the Tigers is Lincoln Dillon, who I didn't really scout out that much, like I did in a way, but his bonus demand is more than our bonus allotment money we have. So this guy would take all the bonus allotment money if we were able to get him, but it's probably because we're a late pick that we have a lower bonus allotment money, my guess. But there's Lincoln Dillon, a good right fielder potentially. That would have been kind of nice to have in a way just because of Bill, but you never know. That guy might not be that good. We never know until we get to that signing phase. Second overall, the Guardians. Who are they going to choose? Randall Rivera, who apparently we fully scouted. He is a third baseman. Oh man, he's one of the third basemen we were looking at. Our scouts had him at 7. MLB had him at 34. Okay. So that kind of sucks that a third baseman already went off the board, but maybe there actually is some good third baseman in this year's draft. Let's see who's number 3. The Cubs are going to take a short guy, and that is Jason Gunn, who we didn't scout it at all. A center fielder, who MLB had at 11, our scouts had at 17, but they didn't even scout him at all, so No idea if that guy's that good, but he might be a really good steal there for the Cubs. Might be. Hard to tell. Okay, now we got to get to see the rest of this draft unfold till our pick at 28, or I could sim to our pick. Maybe I'll just take a look at like the top 5, just because might as well. William Larson goes at number 4 to the Yankees. We didn't scout this guy at all either, so that's kind of interesting. Our scouts had him at 87. MLB had him at 87. Vincent Koo goes number 5 to the Reds. Our scouts had him at 12. We only 10% scouted him, and the MLB had him at 5. George Blanco going number 6 as a catcher. Oh, that's the catcher we were scouting out that we were looking at potentially. He goes number 6 to the Phillies, so the Phillies might have got themselves another good player to go with Ned Thompson. Matt Sanchez going number 7 to the Baltimore Orioles. 14th recommended pick apparently. Kevin Russell. Yeah, there's a lot of guys going off the board that we didn't even scout at all, which is interesting. Because who knows, maybe those players are really good and we just didn't scout them because we were looking more in specific areas. Killian Spoon, who's injured, going to the Dodgers. Our scouts had him at 79, so that might be a bit of a reach. And there goes Lewis Forbes. So unfortunately, Lewis Forbes is off the board, so that's one of the players that we were potentially looking at. Not fully, but a little bit. He goes to the Milwaukee Brewers. David Costello going next at 11 to the Yankees. Or not to the Yankees. Why did I say Yankees? Yankees are not even close to this side, are they? Oh, they were number 4. It's probably the blue and the white. But he goes to Tampa Bay. Manny Delgado, another guy we were kind of looking at a little bit to scout out further. He goes to Kansas City. And Jared Barton just went off the board, unfortunately, at 13 to the Texas Rangers. So we are not going to be getting Jared Barton. But that might be a blessing in disguise. Maybe not. This guy is going to be, I think, a good player. But the thing is, he might be a low potential player. Joe Gallo goes at 14 to the Mets. Lorenzo Alfonso, what a name, going to the Astros. This is actually went a little bit quicker than I thought. Richie Tada, Akuma Tada, he goes to San Fran. Okay. Orville Ivy, who we apparently 50% scouted, he going to the Angels. Might be decent, might not be. Yeah, obviously I'm not going to be doing this for every round. Freddie Rotto goes, so there's another guy off our board. He goes to the Cardinals. Might be a good starting pitcher there for them. Diego Fernandez going to the Mariners at 19, another outfielder. So hopefully not all these outfielders go off the board. So there's Diego Fernandez. Orville Freitas going to the Braves. A lot of guys that I don't even recognize, but that's okay. Robert Cato goes, so there's another guy we were kind of looking at, unfortunately, I think, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, he's 35% scouted. He looks like he could be decent, but we don't know that for certain. Forrest Morton going to the Red Sox. So there's Forrest Morton. San Diego is next, and they take Josh Jarvis, the double J. He's looking not the best so far, but we barely scouted him out, so we could be wrong. George Pineda going to the Blue Jays. Another catchers, so this might actually have some good catchers in this draft, unless these guys are just completely reaching. Wayne Donovan goes next. We did have this guy scouted out, but he didn't look the best on paper. He goes to the Pirates. Miami is up next, and they are going to take Eddie Estrada, who we didn't scout out at all, but he's another outfielding prospect. A couple of center fielders going in this draft so far. And the Rockies go with Mariano Marquez at 27, which means I think Brady Shartner is who I'm going with here. Yeah, I think Brady Shartner is the guy I want, because Ezra I don't really trust yet. I think I could take him in like a third round scenario if he falls that far. There might be a better third baseman out there still, but I think we're going to go with Brady Shartner here. MLB has him at 36. Our scouts have him at 50. Some of our scouts have a lot of these other guys ahead of him, though, which is a bit interesting. I don't know if Brady Shartner falls super far. I don't think he will, because we don't draft till 63. So we got to probably take Shartner here, or else we're not going to be able to get him. Yeah, I think we're going to go with Shartner over Reyna. I just don't trust Reyna yet, and I hope that he falls further, but we'll take Brady Shartner with our pick. I just like his stats a little bit better in terms of like he's more balanced. So, and I think at least, let me look at those numbers again. 3 blue futures, potentially like 7 blue future numbers. So yeah, I'm gonna go with Brady Shartner here at the number 28 spot. Gives us a little bit more solidity on our second base core behind Trevino, because Antoine Trevino is killing it this year. He's still signed long term, but obviously it's good to have a couple guys. And like I said, maybe Shartner could play third base, which would be pretty nice. So we just took Shartner there. Let's sim to our next pick and see if anybody is still on the board. And no, there is a couple guys off. After our pick, it went Booker Valdez. Nobody still that I was looking at. When did the third baseman go? When did the third baseman go? Oh, there goes Chris Hopper. Reyna went all the way at 59, so we almost had a chance to get Ezra Reyna, but we do not. He goes to the Blue Jays. That might be a bad pick. Who knows? That might be a bad pick. Brett Diaz right now is only 35% scouted, 65 on Reeves. Trying to look at these future numbers more so, but we want to look at guys that are mostly scouted first. Which Dorta obviously is going to be probably a high overall, but not a high potential, my guess. So I think I could get him probably in a different round. Brett Diaz isn't supposed to be till 69th round, so this is around his spot. He looks pretty balanced. I do like Brett Diaz quite a bit, I think. But I also do like Johnny Reeves. The only thing is Brett Diaz might have more really good stats. Let's take a look at what else is supposed to go around this spot. See if there's anything else. Hey, look, Brett Diaz and Felipe Diaz. Are these guys brothers? Probably. Let's see. Anybody else? Not really. Yeah, I think I'm going to go with Brett Diaz here. I think. Wait. I do like the more balanced approach, though, Johnny Reeves, actually. I've been thinking about it, because look at the hits per 9, the strikeouts per 9, the walks per 9 in the future, compared to somebody like Brett Diaz. Like, Diaz is going to be good with the stamina, the walks per 9, the arm accuracy, and strength. But Reeves, he might be way more balanced, and I think I would prefer somebody that can play all those. So, yeah, Johnny Reeves is who we're going to take here with our next pick in round 2. And hopefully he's the better pitcher. Might be a bit of a reach there, might not be, but I'm going to trust my scouts on that. Let's sim to our next pick in round number 3. Brett Diaz is still on the board, so I might have to go Brett Diaz here. We are now a competitive round balanced B pick. There's also Ricky Adams, who, I mean, might not have a high potential. That's the only thing. It's a bit of a risk. 50% scouted, only 35 on Diaz. I do like Dorta, but I don't think he should go here. Yeah, I don't think he should go here yet. Brian Zinn, there's so much pitchers that we scouted out. This guy looks like he could be really good too in the future, to be honest. He might be a really good steal. But we might be able to snag him next round. Maybe not next round, actually. I might actually go with Brian Zinn here. Like, those future numbers look insane. 65% scouted. He's more scouted than Diaz, more scouted than Adams. Dorta, I don't want to take at this spot. Vesperas is 70% scouted, but I think he's similar to Dorta. Hogan is only 50% scouted. So, yeah, I think I'm going to go with Brian Zinn here. Take a chance on this guy. Not supposed to go till quite later, but let's take him anyways. There you go. I hope we're making the right calls with these picks. And a couple other guys went off the board, so it looks like we took the guy at the right point. Jack Hogan going to Baltimore. Ricky Adams going to Washington. Brett Diaz going to the Brewers. I guess we could go with Vesperas here. I know we keep drafting a shit ton of pitchers, but we might as well, unless there's somebody else interesting, which there is this third baseman. There is this third baseman. Might be a project third baseman, but it gives us more depth at third base, which is something we need. So, John Bonner, we're going to take you, I think. He doesn't look good, though. He doesn't look good at all in terms of his potential, though, future numbers. I don't think he's going to be a 94 potential. I feel like he might be able to slide a little bit longer. I'm going to add him to my draft queue. I don't know if I should take him yet. I think I might wait till next round. I know Vesperis is probably a good overall, but is he going to have a good potential? Connie Pena, who we scouted as well, might be a better third base option to take. I like the vision, not so much sold on everything else, though. There's this shortstop who might be decent in terms of a prospect, but he doesn't look really that great. Yeah, I think this draft is not the best draft we've had yet, but do I just take John Bonner because we need a third base? Or do I just go with Vesperis? When are we drafting next? This guy's not supposed to go to like 150. I think we'll be able to get John Bonner next round, so I'm going to go with Vesperis here just because we have him on our board. Let's take him. And just load up on those pitchers. And now we're going to take John Bonner, I think. Let me just double check some of these other guys. Let's go scouted. See if there's anybody that really grabs my eye. Not really. Let's just go with John Bonner. I know he doesn't look the best, but we might as well just add another third baseman, and hopefully he has good potential at least, so maybe he could become that guy, but I don't think these later picks are going to be that good for us, but we just got to hope that we're making the right calls. So, Manny Fuentes, that's another pitcher. There's always so many damn pitchers in these drafts. Like, it's hard to find good infielders. Let's see, any potential 99 guys? We could just take a random shots like on Doug Fry, but we have so much catchers too. So it's like a bit of a weird one to take, so I don't think I'll go with him. We could use more shortstop prospects, so we could always just throw one on Barton here. Yeah, I'll just do Barton Meredith. Why not? Why not? He's got some nice hair, so. And the final pick of the draft for us, who do we want to take? Random shot on any of these guys. We'll just go with Fuentes. Boom. So there's our draft. I hope it was a good draft for us. Obviously, the first pick is the one that matters the most. The rest of it kind of just fell off a bit afterwards, but hopefully we made the right call on some of those. Let's see who made it to the home run derby for us. Antoine Trevino is going to be at the home run derby this year. Yes, he's got 23 home runs. That's kind of cool to see Trevino at the home run derby. I didn't think I'd ever see him there because I thought he was more of a contact guy, but he's developing that pop game quite a bit. Now the question is, who made it to the All-Star game for us? So, guys that made it to the All-Star game, any pitchers, or starting pitchers at least. Wait, this is just all the votes. We want to go to All-Star voting, I think, in specific, right? No. Let's just go to the actual roster instead. Make it a bit easier. So, if we go play full game, let's take a look. So, any starting pitchers? No, but Dennis Lake makes it as a closer, so shout out to Dennis Lake. Hopefully he has a better playoffs if we get there again this year. So there's that. Trevino has made it to the All-Star game, I believe, for the first time in his career. So there's 2 All-Stars. Giancarlo Sixto has made it to the All-Star game, and he's already on regression path, which is not ideal based on the money he's making. We might have to try and tune that back up so he's doing good again. But there's 3 players. After that... Wait, Edgar Cuero... No, that's not our former player. We had Cuero, though. We had, like, Brad Cuero, right? What was the Cuero we had? I know we did have one. Ozzy made it as a bench player. So, like, 4 All-Stars this year, which is friggin' awesome. Good stuff. Good stuff, boys. Love the representation. Love the representation. We could already sign some prospects, so let's get into doing that. We'll obviously sign Shartner first, because Shartner is our top priority. And he's declined the first offer. Come on, Brady. Let's get a couple of these other guys scouted out on interest a little bit more, because most of them have pretty low interest, I think. Let me actually remove that for a sec so I could try and sign Vesperis, since he already has interest. There we go. We already got Vesperis signed. Let's get you on there as well. We just want those interest meters to go up so we could sign them easier. There we go. Let's sign them up. Let's get, not Johnny Reeves yet. Let me remove these guys all for now. And try and get Shartner signed, because we know he's the priority here. He's declining again. Come on, Brady. I swear, man. I swear you are the top prospect for this team, so we need you signed. We don't have a lot of bonus allotment money, so I hope that a lot of these guys are just going to accept for dirt cheap. We'll go with you, and we'll go with you. Some of these guys might not sign because their percentages are a little bit low, but that is okay. I guess we'll probably sign them in the off-season if they don't accept. We're kind of losing a bit more games than I like, but we're still 48 and 44, which is decent. Let's remove Bonner for a second here and try and get Shartner now. Come on, Shartner. Come on, Brady. What are you doing? What are you doing? Okay, I should probably just offer him a good chunk of more money than what he's actually asking for, because at this rate, we need to have him signed. So, I mean, there's still a lot of days, but just got to double check. Reader's been injured. Let's go auto on that. Auto on that. 3 straight wins. I love to see it. We're only a half a game back now of the Angels, so we almost have that division lead again, which is great. Zinn, let's get you signed up. Thank you, Brian. Fuentes, let's get you signed up, and you declined apparently, so we'll remove you from this list and get those other 40%ers and below scouted out longer. Actually, we'll just get all you scouted out longer. And we'll try and sign Shartner because Shartner's important. And he's still declining. Come on, man. He needs a few more days to consider an offer, okay? Well, man, just accept, please, eventually, and we will be happy. We will be happy when you accept, because I do not like losing first-rounders. Kenny Ollinger's sustained an injury. Let's go auto on that. And he is back. Let's go place on bench, and let me just make sure he is back in his normal spot, which he is. Perfect. There we go. Yeah, we're winning a lot of games all of a sudden, and we are very close to taking that top spot from the Angels, which is nice. Okay, let's try and get Fuentes again. He is accepted. Nice. Let's get Shartner signed because Shartner's important. He's accepted, so we got Brady finally. And now it's just down to these last 2 guys, and Bonner might actually be a really solid project third baseman in terms of potential, which is good. Gives at least us a little bit of depth, even if he is a long shot of making it. There's a couple more wins. Nicely done, boys. We are exactly tied in terms of games back or whatever with the Angels. We are 55 and 46. They're 56 and 47. Very close to taking that spot, so it's good to see our team is all of a sudden starting to play a little bit better. Let's try and get Bonner here. He's declining that. Come on, Bonner. Meredith, to be honest, is not really looking signable at this stage, but we will hopefully try and get him still. There's another win. Let's go auto on that. We only got a couple more days to sign these boys up, so let's try our best. There you go. Bonner's accepted. And Meredith, I don't know if we're going to get him to above 50%, which means I don't think we're going to be able to offer him a contract. Oh, no. Oh, no. Giancarlo Sixto has broken his forearm out 1 to 2 months. Now, this is a good stage for it to happen, but that is not ideal. Oh, my goodness. That is not ideal. Well, that gives a big shot to Brad Thornton in the lineup, but that could hurt us a lot. So Sixto is out for 1 to 2 months with that friggin' forearm injury. 1 to 2 months. He will be back, I think, before the playoffs still, though. Yeah, he'll be back for the playoffs, I think, at this rate. But is our team going to still be able to get into the playoffs without him? We're 57 and 47 right now. We are top of the division. 2 games up on the Angels, but oh boy, I am kind of scared of what's going to happen. But I think I have like some trust in Brad Thornton to hit some home runs because this guy has 4 home runs. He's batting at .306 off the bench. I mean, he might be decent, but he's definitely no Sixto. So that's a pretty big loss, but I hope that our team can still win games. Because if they can't, then that's the problem. Back-to-back losses since that injury, so not ideal. Not ideal. Let's see if we can get Meredith for the rest of the money. He declines it. So Barton Meredith is gone, unfortunately. He does not sign with us, so maybe we'll sign him in the offseason if you guys think we should have. But there is that, and now we can get a day over this, and we could take a look at our prospects. There's a nice win. 58 and 49. How much does this record slide without Sixto? Because, oh my goodness, that's a really, really big injury to have at this stage. Hopefully that injury does not knock us out of a playoff race. Okay, let's take a look at what we got in the draft, and then we'll take a look at our player stats updated and the standings update and all that type of thing, and wrap up this episode. But did we make the right call at number 28 with Brady Shartner? Did we get a good late round steal is the question. No, oh my goodness, are you kidding me? Well, Brady Shartner is a beast overall-wise. 69 overall at 18 is absolutely fantastic. But C potential is not. So that's probably why he fell, because of that potential. But the thing is, he has the contact hitting to get potential boosts. Like, he might honestly end up being like kind of like an Aussie type deal. Because he's like basically a high overall, low potential. Like, he could easily get a bunch of boosts. He's got good vision and discipline to hit well enough in like double and triple A. Yeah, this guy should be able to outperform that potential quite a bit. I do like this pick a bit, but I don't like that potential. I don't like how the game just gives you a guy that's super high overall, but like a potential like that. But still, that's an intriguing pick nonetheless for a late first rounder. So there is that. What about our next pick? Johnny Reeves, same type of boat. See potential as well for him, but he is a 66 at 18, so we're finding good overall players, but their potentials aren't ideal. So Reeves, he could end up being maybe a more of a relief pitcher kind of guy, or he might be just like a lower end starter, but I don't mind this pick either. Definitely needs some development, but I mean, he's a 66 at 18. That's pretty solid. So there's Reeves. Our next pick. Oh my god, are you kidding me? Brian Zinn. C potential as well, but a 72 overall at 19. That is 3 players with C potentials, but high overalls. Well, that is quite something. This guy's going to be really solid, though. He could definitely be a low-end starter for us or a relief pitcher. I like this pick a lot. I think all 3 of these picks are actual like hits. They're not necessarily misses because they're high overalls, but if those potentials were better, obviously they'd be like home runs of picks for sure. So solid on Brian Zinn. So there's that. Let's take a look at our next pick up here. Same type of boat. 70 overall at 21 no this time. C potential. So yeah, we're definitely finding all the high overall players, but not the high potentials. I do like Vesperis a bit as well. Adds more depth to our system. Like I said, we could use some of these guys as relievers if we want to as well. So there is Vesperis. John Bonner, there's our first A potential. Let's go. He is a project third baseman, but he is a third baseman, so that gives us a little bit more depth on the third base paths because of the fact we might lose Pip Schneider soon. So John Bonner might be the next guy to take over. So I don't mind that pick quite a bit. Obviously, it sucks that he's going to be a long shot to make the MLB. Like, he's going to probably make it in, like, 8+ seasons. But hopefully he develops well enough. I like that. Manny Fuentes. Same boat as most of our picks in this draft. Low potential, high overall at 18. This guy is really solid stamina-wise, obviously, because he's a starter. Yeah, I like a lot of these weird picks, but I honestly don't know how good they're going to do. We definitely could raise their potential if they end up doing really well in like triple and double A though. And then that was our draft. So we only had one A potential player, and that was John Bonner, who just barely got into the A potential range. But Brady Shartner only has 78 potential, so that obviously could be raised if he performs really good. Johnny Reeves only has 79 potential. That could get raised if he does good. Sin only has 74 potential as a 72 overall guy. Yeah, that could get also raised if he does good. Vesperis has a 72 potential. He's only a 70. That could also get raised if he does well. And Fuentes has 76 potential as a 65 overall. So in terms of overall rating, we got a lot of good overalls out of the draft. Most of the time you draft guys that are in like the 50 overall range, 50 to 58. Getting like anybody that's like in the 60, 70 range, like the high 60s, is a really good thing to have, especially at their ages. Most of them are 18 and 19 years old, so these guys could easily develop into being really solid players if we give them boosts, which they might end up getting if they play good enough. So in terms of our draft in general, I'd say we had an okay draft, all things considered. It wasn't necessarily the best draft for us in the world, but it definitely wasn't the worst. Let's take a look at what other teams got around the league. For where we were drafting as well, I think we did good because we were drafting late in the first round, second round, etc., right? So I think where we drafted, we did well enough. Diego Fernandez, the best prospect for the Mariners, 82 overall at 18. We're looking only for really A potential guys, but looks like so far most of these teams had high overall players, but not high potentials as well, kind of similar to us. Like Pena, this guy's a 68, but only a 72 potential. These guys are also high overalls, but low potential. Hey, one of them actually is Jared Barton. This is the other guy we were looking at. He would have also been the same type of boat. Really weird class this is. Really, really weird. Sid Trainer, the best there. There's an A potential guy. And Travis Bravo, of course it's Bravo. This is one of the guys we were looking at potentially drafting. He has terrible hits per 9 and Ks 9. He would definitely need to work on those, but Travis Bravo was one guy I was definitely looking at, and he's an A potential player. There's a couple B potentials. Joe Gallo's another A potential guy. I believe he was like 11th or 12th overall, something around that range. 91 potential, 74 overall at 18 as a starting pitcher. That's a really good pick there for the Mets. Of course, the Mets are going to get another good starting pitcher. They also drafted J.J. Zlidzik, who is the guy that we were looking at as well, and he is also a high overall but a very low potential. Really good contact against lefties, but that's it pretty much. Yeah, this is probably one of the weirdest classes I've seen so far. Oh my goodness. George Blanco. No way. And he goes to the Phillies too. Yo, the Phillies are going to be freaking insane in this. They just drafted their second player who is a stud. Like, I mean a stud like Ned Thompson wise. George Blanco is the catcher of the future for them. Yeah, between him and Ned Thompson, they're going to be paying a ton of money. But both these guys were like 81 out of the draft. 99 potential as well. Was not expecting a generational player in this draft. We did look at Blanco, but our scouts were inaccurate on him, I think. Our scouts said between 66 and 99 potential. I don't know if I scouted him out fully or not. But the Phillies are going to be completely loaded. Oh no, we need to win a World Series soon because the Phillies are definitely coming. And once they get into the playoffs, they are going to be impossible to beat with those two guys, my guess. Absolutely unreal. Absolutely unreal. Nationals, Guillermo Peralta, 75 overall at 22. Cosmo and Saucedo. Yeah, this is still one of the weirdest classes I've seen. Gunn looks really solid. 67 overall at 18, 87 potential. Connie Pena, who we are looking at, also has a potential, but he is a 21-year-old. Anything else interesting? Koo, only 82 potential, but a high overall. Lewis Forbes, that's another guy we were looking at, 60 overall, only 79 potential. Brett Diaz, damn, the Brewers have a lot of good pitchers too. The Brewers are definitely also a team that's going to win a World Series soon, I think. As I'm pretty sure they have at least 3 really good prospects pitching-wise. Donovan's nothing really good. Leo Pinheiro, good contact against lefties. Ferrati Rado, another guy we were looking at, is a solid guy, like B prospect, but nothing insane. Still will be a good number 3 guy or something like that, probably in the lineup. Wow. Did you guys expect her to be a generational prospect in this draft? Because I honestly didn't. Eric Hanks and Carlos Tejada, pretty solid there for the Rockies. Andres Sandoval, solid prospect there. Josh Jarvis, nothing good there. Chris Hopper. I was looking at Chris Hopper earlier before I got into like reading the comments and whatnot, and this guy's a good potential prospect for pitching. He goes to the Padres, so the Padres are getting some good players for the future. What else do we got here? Neil McCarty, solid. Asado, Sanchez, nothing else. Jack Hogan was high overall, low potential. So much high overall, low potential, guys. Forrest Morton, 90 potential. Kent Green, really low overall on him. Oh my goodness, we have another 99 potential player in Alejandro Ramirez, who's a 63 overall center fielder, and he went like 3rd round. This would have been the perfect replacement for Ollie Gellman. Or for somebody in the outfield. But we did not see him. I don't even know if I had this guy scouted. But that's the second guy with 99 potential. Not a generational player because he's not an 81 out of the draft, but he is another player that's going to develop into being a very good outfielder for the Yankees. He was, I guess, a 3rd round pick. Maybe a 2nd round pick. Hard to tell. Gustavo Garlobo, 3rd baseman. Not too bad, but low overall for a 22-year-old. Ezra Reyna is actually pretty solid. Maybe we should have went with Reyna over the 2nd baseman. He's a very high overall, has a better potential as well, but yeah, Ezra Reyna might have been a better pick. We might have done goofed taking Shartner instead. I just wasn't sold on Reyna, but apparently he's better. So that kind of sucks. Dave Ray, kind of solid prospect there. Or, well, really solid in terms of potential at least. We almost missed a team. Oh my goodness. Are you kidding me? And then number 1, Lincoln Dillon went overall. He's another generational prospect. That's 2 generationals in this draft. 3 players with 99 potential. So much for having a lot of drafts with mid players. This was definitely the strongest draft class in terms of really good talent. And of course, it's the year we're not a lottery team. Lincoln Dillon's going to be really good. Really, really good. And of course, he's a right fielder, which is something we kind of need. But he goes at number 1. Damn. There's Delgadio. There's Quinsbury. Francisco. Yeah, this was quite the draft. I don't know if I say we had the best draft in the world anymore because of all those A potentials. But, I mean, at least we got guys with high overalls. Like, kind of more immediate impact kind of guys. Babe Pyle's pretty solid. Damn, man. Yeah, I mean, I'd say our draft was definitely not the worst, but the miss out on 2 generational players because the fact we had a late pick kind of sucks. Because the Tigers are going to get somebody good in the outfield, and now the Phillies are going to have a really good catcher to add to their core with Ned Thompson. Yeah, that guy is going to be the perfect number 1 catcher for them next season. He's already going to be their best catcher. So much for Julio Pena and those kind of guys. But, yeah, Ned Thompson's already insanely good contact-wise, and he's developing really well. Yeah, I'm really scared to face this guy eventually in the catcher. They're going to probably go to the World Series at some point, my guess. Okay, now that we have seen the draft class, let's take an updated look at our team stats so far, and then that'll be it for this episode. Apologize if it's a long episode again. But standings-wise right now, you can see we are a half a game up on the Angels. We're still allowing a lot of runs, the 2nd worst in terms of runs allowed, but we are the best offensive team in our division. And maybe in the entire AL or the entire league, we might be the best offensive team. So there's that. Player stats, let's take a look at those, see who's doing what so far. So Garth is all of a sudden really struggling. That's not ideal. Maybe it's because he's 28 now, but his ERA and WHIP are getting much higher. His FIP is still good, though, so I don't really know what to make of that, but Garth is kind of struggling a bit. Sammy looks like he might be doing similar to what he was doing before. Sparbore's been fantastic. Sparbore's been one of our best pitchers. That's nice. And Montero has been, let's see, 5 games started. 4 quality starts, so William Montero finally starting to come into his own. Bobby Hydemore's reliever has been improving. Ollinger's been a good reliever. Jack Birch, still not very good. Ken Roberts improving, but still not doing well. In general, I'm not liking our pitching still, which definitely is going to be a problem going to the playoffs. Let's take a look at those batting numbers, though. Holy crap, Trevino's up to 26 home runs, so he kind of slowed down a lot home run-wise in this episode, but 70 RBIs, batting at 315. Really good so far. Steiner's batting at 278. He's been good. 10 home runs, 42 RBIs. Brad Thornton getting put into the lineup has been solid as well. While we have that injury to Sixto, 5 home runs, 15 RBIs, a 313 average. Ozzy's batting over 300 as well. George Pinero's batting at 285. Pip's batting at 279, only 2 home runs though. Bill Pineda batting at 230, but he's got 17 homers. O'Donnell's got a 248, and Gelman's got a 281. So a lot of our players are doing really good batting average-wise, which is great. Josh Groves has been good off the bench. Schneider's been better, I guess, or actually he's getting worse, I think. Yeah, I'm liking our team's offense, obviously, but I'm not really liking the pitching. I hope that improves playoff-wise. I really do. Because if we look right now at team rankings, we are the second best team, or tied for first in batting average. We've scored the most runs in the league, just over the Diamondbacks, who won the World Series last year, so that's cool. We're number 2 in hits, only by 1 behind the Yankees. We're first in doubles, first in triples. We are 8th in home runs, first in RBIs, 3rd in stolen bases. But then you get the stuff like our pitching, and that's not where it's good. We are 28th in ERA. So, yeah. We're an offensive team, but we cannot stop from runs from scoring. We definitely need to improve in terms of our defensive play. But I do like our offense, so I don't really know what's going to happen if we get to the playoffs. But right now we're in a really good spot. Are we the best team in baseball at the moment? No, we're not. The White Sox are looking for redemption, as last year they were knocked out in the World Series by the Diamondbacks. So we might have to play them again in the playoffs if we want to get to the World Series. But they are meaning business this year. 65 wins. The Giants are also really good, 66 wins. Diamondbacks are on 70 wins because they're allowing way less runs than us. They're scoring right around the same as us, but they're allowing way less. Yeah, there's a lot better teams than us in the league right now. But who knows? Maybe we'll be an underdog from a World Series, or not a World Series, from a wild card spot to go on to win the World Series. That'd be great. But anyways, guys, that's going to do it for this episode of our Vancouver Rain Draft to Glory franchise mode. So in next episode, we'll simulate the rest of the season. We'll see if we make it back to the playoffs. And hopefully once Sixto is back, he doesn't get re-injured. And hopefully this team can start winning more games. And also, hopefully a lot of those prospects continue to develop and all that type of thing. So anything down below. And I'll see you guys next time.